It's not winter yet, but it's coming, and that's exactly where Expedition 33 traps you, right at the emotional edge of the fall. It's a game that's about transition and contrast, and being on the precipice between two polar opposites. At the beginning of the game, this is between life and death, as the character's time slowly ticks away, and later pivots to another blurring point between reality and fiction, and again, some characters like Meliel and Verso also stand between these 2 points. The point is, Clair Obscur is an extremely artistic game. Hell, the Clair Obscur part of its title is the French translation of an artistic term that means to have a strong contrast. As a game with a much deeper message than is presented on the surface, Clair Obscur does much of its storytelling through visual metaphors, captured in its eye-meltingly gorgeous world. There's no doubt that Clair Obscur is trying to compete on a AAA level with presentation like this, and while I shake my head at the foolish pursuit of high-fidelity graphics taking precedence over gameplay, there was something about Clair Obscur's art style that stood out to me, how consistently coloured it was. Games with bold artistic direction or cutting-edge graphics often feel the need to show off the range of art styles they're capable of. Think of the massive contrasts in locations found in games like Red Dead Redemption 2 or God of War Ragnarok. But Clair Obscur has only 2 distinct art styles across every area in the game, warm and cold areas. The warm areas like the Redwood are singed with a red and orange hue to portray the light side of the mysterious continent, while dark areas like the Flying Waters are tinted with a deep blue to communicate the darkened side of the contrast. For a game with such heavy artistic themes, to the point where even the main antagonist is a paintress, you'd expect far more forms of artistic expression during your journey. But the game remains within the confines of its 2 contrasting colour schemes, and it ties it together beautifully. By eliminating any sort of middle ground from the world, that role falls to the characters, who are the only parts of the world not to fit into the contrasting colour scheme. This reflects how the members of the expedition stand at the crossroads between life and death, with them being near the end of their lives, they're being confronted with the 2 phases of life that they're no longer in. The warm reds and yellows represent the full and enriching lives that are coming to an end, and the pale blues and whites representing the cold death that the gommage brings with it. Although it's worth noting that the first area in the game is the only one I counted that blended these 2 styles. Clair Obscur lays its world out through segmented dungeons that you enter from an overworld, and the theme of those dungeons stay consistent for the most part. Except for the game's inaugural area, the Spring Meadows. You begin in an area with the walls soaked in the blood of your fallen comrades, before stepping outside to a lush and warm grassy area. This is the warmth of the gommage presented in 2 intensities, blood red and golden yellow. As you continue along this area, the landscape dramatically warps into a misty white, overlooking an endless canyon, obscuring the world from your view. Then you enter an otherworldly forest, emanating an unnaturally cold blue from every piece of foliage. Again, Clair Obscur portrays its contrasting colour scheme in 2 contrasting intensities, all within the first area of the game. In doing so, it creates a complete picture of what we can expect to see on our journey to reach the paintress, and the game never betrays this colour scheme of warm and cold. Even when an area would be more traditionally green like a forest, Clair Obscur makes the decision to create an autumn forest so that the biome fits within the theme of the world. Even the starting area Lumiere is subject to this contrast. At the beginning of the game, the city is littered in bright red decoration, celebrating, for lack of a better term, the gommage. But when we return to the city for the finale, it's enshrouded in oppressive blues and blacks, showing us the lively city has been claimed by death. There's only one area in the whole game that I consider to break from this tradition, and it's the Paintress's Void, which is depicted in a monochrome filter. When the characters are pulled into this black and white void, it's always tied to the antagonists of the game, like the Paintress and Renoir. This lack of colour goes to show that these characters are not of this world, and come from a place beyond the colourfulness of the painting, instead hailing from a far more bleaker place, reality. Neither of these characters come from this world, and as such have their colour drained from it, as they don't belong in the beautiful world of the canvas, portraying them both as the true enemies of the canvas, as in the Paintress's case, she's been forced to destroy her creation, while for Renoir, he actively seeks to tear down this fantasy that his wife and daughter escaped into. While Clair Obscur's art style certainly has the ability to depict environments far more cerebral in nature, the game restrains itself to its contrasting colour scheme, a feat which it deems so important that it has to be featured in the title, which no doubt hurt the game's marketing, as the word salad title certainly feels unappealing to say, but with no corporate overlords to tell them no, it's the artists calling the shots, and it shows. For more Clair Obscur essays, here's one about how the game tackles its themes of mortality, and I'll be back in 2 days.